What are you up to, Mr. Johnson? What are you up to, Wildcat Ben? These are two interesting top 30 visits the Bears have decided to bring in. Tre Harris from Ole Miss and Jalin Conyers, versatile tight end out of Texas Tech. One would be a second, third round option. One would be a late fifth, sixth-ish round option. But they both played quarterback in high school at one point or another. They both can play Wildcat style offense, and they both are very versatile. So it's going to be interesting to see what Ben Johnson is cooking up here. I can already see the gears in his head turning, and I can already see some scheming. I can see some fun things being created by this offense. So before we get too far, if you guys don't mind, I appreciate when you hit that like button, when you subscribe, when you share it with your friends. There's going to be some things in this video, I promise you, that you haven't heard anywhere else. You might hear later, but there's some stuff in here you're going to want to share with people. So hit that like button, subscribe, and let's bear down. All right, so first off, as we always do, we pull me off screen. Here's Tre Harris. You can see his overall rank by General Scout consensus is 56.4. I know this is kind of small on your screen, guys. I'll try to do my best to explain what's there. 6'2", a little over 6'2" when you see his official measurements. Over 200 pounds. Good size. I've called him great value Rome Odunze for this draft class. Capability of getting up to A.J. Brown. But a lot of development needed from him. 3-year player at Louisiana Tech and then transferred to Ole Miss. I'll bring on here in 1 second The Beast by Dane Brugler, a little bit of explanation from him. But you can see his range varies. PFN has him all the way up at number 31. You can see, and then the NFL at 45. Draft Tech at 56, all the way down until you have CBS all the way down at 90. Maybe because there's a slight injury history. That could be the issue with what they see in him. But you can see 1,000-yard season this last year in limited time because of the injuries. 17.2 yards per reception and per route run. That's not on here, but per route run, the number one in all of college football. You guys know I love my contested catches. So a solid contested catch guy this last year, 61.5, which is on point with Rome Odunze as well. But his NFL passer rating when targeted, 149.5, is one of the best in all of college football per the amount of snaps and targets that he received. So he makes his quarterback better, and that's what you want out of a wide receiver. So I can see the appeal here for the Bears. Do they want to use a Rome Odunze on one side outright, and Tre Harris out left, 2 X receivers? Then you got DJ Moore in the slot, and then Cole Kmet. That type of thing, you could build a lot of scheme versatility with having 2 big X receivers. So I like this. It wasn't just this last year either. 1,030 yards there, 986 the year before, 925 the year before that. So been consistently good at Louisiana Tech, and as he transferred to Ole Miss, only got better. So he's improved each year. So I'm going to bring on, I had the wrong one to start. I had to bring back on. So Tre Harris, this is the Beast article. You can pause some of that. I'm going to bring on a little bit of film too. Try not to get copyright striked by sharing it at the same time that I talk about the Beast article. So we'll let that play, and then we'll talk about the Beast. Of course, you know we're going to come to the Mr. Beast article, and I'm going to share just a little bit of things here with you. Multi-sport athlete in high school, like many of these guys, basketball and football. Left basketball for just a little while, and then he said he learned how much he loved football because of how much he missed it when he stepped away from football to play basketball. Something interesting I found in here, because Dane Brugler does such a deep background on these guys. He attended Ove Como, I can't even pronounce it, guys. Sorry. High in Lafayette, Louisiana, where he was teammates with Malik Neighbors. Harris was like a brother and a mentor for Neighbors. Harris was expected to be the top wide receiver on varsity as a sophomore, but when the starting quarterback transferred, the coaches looked to Harris to fill that void and run the team's flexbone option offense. So he played quarterback for a little while as well. Interesting. We'll skip a bunch of this stuff. Sorry. Check this stuff out later. But there's his strengths and his weaknesses. Like I said, to me, he's great value. He's a great value Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze plays with more passion, more possession, just a little bit stronger, a little more disciplined to me. But Tre Harris would be a great X receiver on the other side. His strengths: tall, well-built athlete with adequate body thickness, natural ball skills, and doesn't fight the football. Plays strong and flashy. You can read through all these. Posted 10 100-yard receiving games and 20 games played at Ole Miss, which is freaking amazing. Smooth in and out of drive phase when in technique is sound. His weaknesses, speed is more built up. So he's not going to be your breakaway yard guy. He's not going to be the guy that separates from defenders a ton. And he doesn't quite have the contested catch ability of Rome, but he's really sharp when he runs his hooks or when he runs his slants. His route running is a little bit more crisp than Rome's. So it would be a fun combination with these two out wide and then DJ Moore in the slot. It would be really fun to see that combination. I would enjoy it quite a bit. So missed a significant chunk of time in his final season because of groin injury, October of 2024, which sidelined him for 5 games and parts of others. Missed 1 game because of a left knee injury, September 2023, which required a minor procedure. The only other thing that concerns me here, flashes play strength to put the clamps on corners as a blocker, but the competitive desire isn't consistently there. I don't love reading things like that, but that's why you bring him in for a top 30 visit. That's why you bring him into Hallis Hall, get a feel for him, see how you like him. So here's the summary on him. You know what you're getting on his tape: an outside wide receiver who runs a ton of slants and curls with a post or crosser mixed in. I think he ran 85%. It says right here, yeah, a wide 85% of his snaps. So uh, but you still have to stop him, and that was a problem for defenses this season. Though he's not a burner, Harris has the stride speed to be a factor on linear one-cut routes and displays smooth gear down for clear transitions. The best parts of his game are his hand-eye coordination and finishing toughness to make catches over defensive backs. Overall, Harris doesn't have the explosive speed or separation skills that teams covet in a number 1 receiver, but he is a controlled athlete with the play strength and ball skills to be a dependable possession target. He projects as an NFL starter and a team's number 2 target if he can stay healthy. And you can see that he has his grade here of 2nd to 3rd round, number 65 overall. So who knows where the Bears have him on their board, but this is a really good option for one of those mid day 2 picks. Pick number 72. If he falls there or if he lands there, who knows if that's what the Bears are looking for there. They brought a couple wide receivers in, so the wide receiver is definitely in the mix here. We'll go over that in a minute. But I do like the prospect that is Tre Harris. Comparing him to Rome Odunze, obviously I like that. And by saying great value Rome Odunze, that's not a slam on Tre Harris. Just recognize I think Rome Odunze is going to be a top wide receiver in this league. And I believe Rome Odunze was the best wide receiver in last year's class, mostly because of his contested catch ability, his low drop rate, the ability he has to make a quarterback successful. So Tre Harris on the other side would be a lot of fun for the Bears. So let's move to Jalin Conyers next. So they have Jalin Conyers listed as a slot receiving tight end. I just think he's a utility knife. And that's what we know Ben Johnson has said he likes. When he talked about Tyler Warren, he talked about him being an overall athlete. Well, Jalin Conyers, same type of thing. In fact, I'll show a highlight here in a second where he runs the Wildcat, runs a running play out of the quarterback position for it. He played quarterback a little bit in high school as well, but he runs it almost all the way for a touchdown, 50+ yards. So he's very versatile and he's a good pass blocker. Last year at Arizona State in 2023 wasn't so great, but when he got to Texas Tech and they used him properly, his pass blocking grade soared all the way up to 75.4, which is absolutely phenomenal. So they say his deep threat is his strength, but he's a well-rounded but developmental tight end, one that's going to need some work. And that's what you're taking here in your 6th, 7th round range. We know the Bears have a pick at 148 and then one at 233 and 240. So this is going to be in between that range. Is it possible the Bears pick him up early, in a 5th round pick, or is it possible that the Bears are looking maybe for a trade back scenario where they pick up an extra pick in the 6th round? Or do they hope he falls? Because you can see the range varies on him. The overall rank consensus is around 250. Bears have 233 and 240. Are they waiting to see if maybe he falls, like NFL.com or a Draft Buzz think he will? If he does fall, because he is according to Dane Brugler, he's not even the top 10 tight end. He's that 12, 13, 14 range of tight end. So he's not going to be one of the top options. And if teams aren't looking to solidify the tight end room as much, he could fall to the Bears at 233. It's possible. So we will do the exact same thing here with Jalin Conyers from the Beast article. You can pause that if you want to a little bit. I'm not going to share every little details from these, but I'll play the film here at the same time as we review a little bit from Jalin Conyers. So let me bring that up. Conyers. All right, Jalin Conyers, Texas Tech, hometown Groover, Texas. You can see a little background here if you want to. I'm not going to spend much time on here. There wasn't anything significant of help. Fifth-year player, started at Arizona State, ended up at Texas Tech. Actually started at Oklahoma, then ended up at Texas Tech. 6'3", 260 pounds. His strengths and weaknesses, you can see right here. Impressive athlete for his size. They comment several times on his athleticism and his toughness and his contested catchability. So those are things that I do like. At the bottom there, he says rangy blocker to hook linebackers or cover up safeties on the move. So I can see some run blocking ability here, some potential in a Ben Johnson offense. I can see something like that happening. Finishes with physicality and play strength as a ball carrier. So it'll be interesting to see if this is the pick. This is obviously a sixth round grade here. So this would be, with our fifth round pick or even a trade down scenario where we pick up an extra pick type of situation. Or if he falls to the seventh round, who knows what the Bears are looking at with these things. Weaknesses, speed is more built up than immediate. Same thing with Tre Harris. Fluid in and out of breaks, but would benefit better from better throttle and control in route construction. I feel like that's something that can be taught a little bit more at the next level. Solid pop as a blocker, but inconsistent sustaining. Also something I feel like can be improved as well. An inconsistent technique hinders his ability to move bodies or anchor. So remember, this is a fifth, sixth grade player, or round, fifth, sixth round player option you're looking at. This is that's what you want to do with your fifth, sixth, seventh rounders, is develop these guys. And this seems like a really good player to develop. So his summary here: a one-year starter at Texas Tech. Conyers was a hybrid tight end in former offensive coordinator Zach Kitley's version of the air raid. A Red Raiders fan growing up in West Texas, he made stops at Oklahoma and Arizona State before finding his way to Lubbock for his fifth season. He finished second on the team in touchdowns in 2024. Conyers has a basketball background, which shows in quick-footed movements in his lower body and his flexibility in his upper half to easily adjust at the catch point. He isn't polished as a route runner or blocker, but he can sink, and there's plenty of room for maturation in both areas. Overall, Conyers has NFL athleticism and talent. That's something they would be looking for. Whether or not he can fine-tune the details will determine his chance of carving out a long-term role as a number 2 tight end option. He has the versatility to be flexed around the field as a steady blocker and target. So I like that as an option when you're looking at a tight end to develop. Say we don't go tight end round 1 or round 2, and we're not looking at, and we go wide receiver 3 being more important than tight end, but we need another blocking developmental tight end. This is a good option to me. I do like Jalin Conyers. I've mocked him before in a couple of the mock drafts. So variety of options there. Variety of options. It's the running play, and then also where he took the handoff there and threw it for a touchdown. That was him passing for a touchdown. So a lot of fun with both these prospects. So here's an updated look at your top 30 visits. You can see I've added these two in here. You can see Tre Harris right there as a third round option, and then Jalin Conyers as a mid-day 3 prospect option. I don't know. I don't love to share the negative things, but it is news that relates to the Bears. You can see right over here, that's Isaiah Bond. The Bears have already brought Isaiah Bond in for a visit, and you can see right around this same range in the third round. Tre Harris now, Jalen Lane, and Kyle Williams all brought in as well for a visit, but you see here, former Texas wide receiver and current wide receiver draft prospect Isaiah Bond turned himself in to Frisco, Texas police this morning for a matter related to an outstanding warrant for sexual assault. Frisco PD told the insiders. He posted bond and was subsequently released. So Bond was held on bond until he posted bond, and then the bond was posted and Bond was able to leave. So interesting there. I'm not going to comment on whether or not this is factual. Like the fact that it's here, Ian Rappaport has reported on it. That is factual. Is there an actual basis for the sexual? I don't know. I don't know enough on that, but I do know these red flags are things the Bears don't typically tolerate. They don't want the drama. They don't want this type of thing overshadowing the football team. So it's funny, Carl and I joked around yesterday about taking these types of players that the Eagles or the Chiefs are able to take on. And Carl said, we're not quite there yet. Well, now when something like this happens, Carl, I agree with you. I don't want to take Isaiah Bond on. As quick as he is, as much potential as he has, I like these other options too. I like Tre Harris a lot. I like Jalin Lane. I like Kyle Williams. All those are good options. And we even have options later that they could be looking at as well. So the Bears are clearly looking in this third round range for their wide receiver option. It seems to be the writing on the wall, what they appear to be doing. I would not expect Isaiah Bond. The Bears do top 30 visits, and they've had success with their top 30 visits and end up drafting their top 30 visits. I would put a big red X here right now and expect this not to be the pick for the Bears. And moving forward, focus on the Tre Harrises and focus on, the looking for him, the Jalin Lanes, and looking for the other players, the Kyle Williams, looking for the players that could be potential Bears that probably won't bring that drama with them. So here's a look at the 90-man roster. Again, we're sitting here at 72 as it stands right now. 7 draft picks would put us at 79. But here in the orange highlighted area, last year we had 10 wide receivers in camp, 6 tight ends. We have 9 wide receivers now and 5 tight ends. So it's likely we pick another 1 or 2. I wouldn't be shocked if we bring more than 10 wide receivers into camp this year. It appears that Ben Johnson really wants to make a focus and an emphasis with these wide receivers. No block, no rock. Get these guys in here, get them competing and battling and see, filter the best of the best out. Yeah, same with tight end position as well. So that's our focus for today. And then just one more time for recap review. You see the little bear down logo in the middle there. Top 30 visit deadlines are by the 16th. So we only have 5 days left for them to complete these top 30 visits. We're getting a more clear picture of it. We got about 20 of them. So there will be some more names that filter in. We'll have them for you here. So I appreciate you guys tuning in and being a part of it. And again, if you guys don't mind hitting that like button, subscribing, setting notifications on, I'm bringing you the breaking stuff as soon as I can. I appreciate your guys' support. Please help me to grow this thing. Till next time, the Bears and bear down. The Bears.